Hi folks, welcome to my 8-Bit Retro Journal. Today I'm going to be talking about my game called Computer Battleship that I wrote as a kid in 1982. Partly because one of my viewers actually suggested that I do a video on the other game I'm writing now, which is called Elite, and I'm only about halfway done and I haven't really worked on it for a while, and so that got me thinking, oh, I should continue working on it. But I'm not quite ready to do a video on just a gameplay, I suppose. But I have this, which is fully functional. So I'm working on Elite to finish it, but I was going to do a Battleship. Now, Battleship is a board game that I grew up with in the 80s, and actually, I think I still have the board game. But I loved it, and it was a nice game to write for the ZX81 Timing Sinclair 1000. I'm running it here on my ZXSimulator, and it runs perfectly fine and exactly the same on this computer. It's pretty close to maxing out memory. I think I have about 50 bytes or 50 to 100 bytes left, so I can't add too much. What I want to do today actually is make a change to the game to improve it, and I've already sort of plotted out the code for that, and then play it just to show you. And I might intersperse some clips and audio from this, which is the movie Battleship, a Hasbro movie that came out in 2012. This has a nice soundtrack. So so Battleship. What I'm going to do is I'm going to situate the camera to make it easier to see, and then I'm going to first I'll talk about what code change I want to make to improve it, and then I'll make the code change, and then I'll play a game. That's what's on the agenda today. All right, so let's rearrange the camera. My camera is situated in front of my computer, and the picture is pretty nice. If you actually notice, it's actually in black and white monochrome mode. You can see that the cursor that's blinking at the top is actually gray and not green. And I put it in monochrome mode because ZXSimulator is black and white. And you can see that there's no shimmering at all. This gives you just such a nice clear picture. Okay, so here I'm in the middle of a game, and what I want to do before I play this is add just a couple of lines of code to fix an issue that my Battleship game has. Now, first of all, if you don't know what's going on here, this is my board, and this is where I hide my ships, and the computer is trying to find them, and this is where the computer hides their ships, and I'm trying to find them. So I've already found 4 of them. I'm searching for the final one, and the computer's found my carrier, my battleship, destroyer, and cruiser. No. Submarine, and so looking for the cruiser. And what I want to fix on this side is the computer does okay smart moves, and one of them, for instance, it does one. So it does know the 3s exist here, so that's just for my reference where I put it. But the H's means they've been sunk and hit. So the computer knows about this ship, this, and that ship. And so notice it will not add any hits around it because, so this hit came before, well, no, that's a valid hit. But this one and these and this one and these, since there can't be a ship sitting there, it makes no sense for the computer to actually place one there as a guess. And so it's pretty robust in that sense, but it does have its weaknesses. For instance, it'll still look for squares of 3, even if it's destroyed both the cruiser and the submarine. I'll give you an example. So there's 2 of them in here. So if this were the computer's board and these were my ships that are trying to sink, and imagine the computer's already sunk the destroyer, the computer at this point still searches for these 2, even though there's no point of it because there's no other ship that could be that. So that's a wasted move. The same goes for this especially. So you have a single dot, and there's no ship that's a single dot. So this is a wasted move. I, as a human, will never search for that. And there's also one here on the side. I can't really fix this case because I think it would take too much code. I only have about between 50 and 100 bytes left to fix, or to make it a better game. But I can address this one. So basically I can just check if above, below, left to the right, these are all hits. And if they are, then if they're not open, then I just ignore this one. And the same goes for this. I can look for any of the corners if it's, if they're not open, then I might as well not hit that. So that's the fix I want to do, and then I'm going to play a game. All right, so let me break this. So it's Control S, and again, I've already did a little bit of reconnoitering, so if I go list, this is actually the code, and the code sort of starts at 12:15 right here. So this is the selection code, and what that does is basically the C11 array contains address of where to, or line number where to jump to next. So basically, if it's not 0, then go to that line number. And basically, it's currently in a routine of I've hit something. So if it's, you know, if I hit a Battleship, I have to narrow in on it. So it just does that. It ignores all the random stuff. If C11 is 0, then it says, oh, I'll just do a random move, and then it just picks a K and an L. If it ends up either being 1 or -1, -1 means that it's a ship I hit, or 1 means it's a slot that I tried and there wasn't anything, then it just is going to go right back to 1220 and pick 2 new random values. And then this right here is code where it just checks, oh, is above me, to the side of me, I think this is, I'm sorry, above or below, to the left or the right of me, do I have, is there a ship that I've already sunk? That's what -1 means. And then here it basically says if it's not 0, then I go to 1370 plus. So basically in here I either have stored 2 for destroyer, 3, 4, 5, and 6 battleship, and so this is computes a go to home in on that. So basically I've hit something. If it's not 0, if it is 0, then just set it to 1 as an empty spot and go on. So what I want to do is right after this code where I set it to 1, I actually want to check to see if above, below, to the left, to the right, if I have a 1 in all of them, then I have that case where I'm empty. And there's also, I can also add the case where I'm on the edges, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. All right, so I think I'm going to add in 1267. So, and it's going to look something like, it's going to be an if, and it's going to go if A, again, K is my row, so if above me, minus, and I would do K minus, let me do this first and I'll fix it. K and L, so it's row and column, plus A K plus 1s, row, column. I know it's K and L instead of R and C, but I was using those elsewhere. And then left and right, A K L minus 1, and then A K L plus 1. If all of those, so if each of those has a value in it, each value of it being occupied would be a 1. We know it can't be a -1 because we've already checked for that in the code above it, which was all this stuff right here. So it can either just be a value of an actual ship to hit, but then we would have already covered that here as well because we said if it's not 0. So basically it's either going to be 0 or 1. And so we're just going to say if they're all 1s, meaning that they're all misses, I'm going to add them up, and if that add up equals 4, then I'm going to have to basically, so I wish what I would love to do is then I'd want to set, I'd want to reset this to 0 because now I don't want to do this and then go back up and choose a random thing. So at 1220 is where I do that, but and at 1215 is where I actually come into this routine. So I want to just add one line above that. So I'll just pick, go to 1212. The only issue with this is that what happens if I'm on the side of the screen, so or the, right at the top or the bottom. So I actually need to add code in here to fix that. And the way to fix that is I need to just expand this a bit. So it's a little slow, but that's okay. So instead of saying L plus 1, what I can say is, since it's to the right, oops, is instead of saying plus 1, I can just say if L is less than 10, and that's going to be 1 if it's less than 10, 0 otherwise. So if it's 0, then I won't add anything to it. Now you might go, well, then you're at the edge, you're going to get the value 3. But because I added a 1 in the middle, this will actually be KL. This is plus 0, so this will be that one. So it'll still add up to 1. So this should work, and then I just have to do it for all of them. And that should do the trick. I might have pressed too much again. So this is just the impatience of... yeah, well, I'm going to go all the way to the start and just do this one first. So this is going to be... K greater than 1. This is going to be K less than 10. And this is going to be L greater than 1. L greater than 1. Yep, and that ought to do it. So let's insert that into our code. And so now we have 1267. It's going to say if a k minus k is greater than 1, comma L, plus a k plus k is less than 10, comma L, plus k L minus, oh, that shouldn't be minus 1. So let's show you how you do the edit. Edit 1267. And then you should have to go find it. So there is a, as I'm going to this is a problem right here. There shouldn't be a 1 there. If you had a gold card, this would run much faster. So it's a little bit of, editing is not the most ideal, but it will work, and it's, yeah, so I just have to get rid of this 1 right there, and that should do it. And then at 1212, what we're going to do is we're just going to assign a sub k L 0. So we're going to unset it because we had set it here to 1, and so we need to unset it at the very top, and you'll see how it's going to go. So if a k greater than 1, k less than 1, yep. So this should work. So we're going to say 1212. We're going to say let a k comma L equals 0. And so that is going to go right at the top. So as we come in, the routine jumps into 1215 for the next move. If it's sort of tracking down one, it's going to use this to go back to the tracking down. Otherwise, it's going to pick 2 new values, etc. Well, since we were in this pick new values, C11 is guaranteed to be 0. So when we get to that bottom part and we decide we need to do a new move, we just go to 12, it sets this to 0, and then picks a new move. So that should work. I'm pretty confident. Let's run it. Guaranteed to work. All right. So we're going to change the setup. We're going to say left, right, down, up. Vertical is going to be V. H for horizontal, set's going to be space. We're going to do normal mode, and we're going to use the coordinate system. So in other words, A1, just like the original Battleship. The move one lets you use the mouse to move a cursor, but I'm going to keep it authentic today. All right, here it is. So now I just need to set up my ships. And all right, so let's do that. So placement of ships, I can actually speed this up. I'm going to say vertical. Move and set. And then I'll do another vertical. So this allows you to set it. You can move around and hit the space to set it. I'll do the next one is horizontal, H, and find a place where I want it. Now this won't let you, so for instance, it won't let me set it here. if I move it up one, it won't let me set it here. And so you can't do any illegal. So here it'll let me set it because it's a legal move. All right, we'll do another horizontal one. We're going to do this a little bit on the other side. So it does hit the corners. So you can't do any illegal settings. It won't go off the screen if you don't allow it. We'll do one more vertical one, and we'll do it right here in the corner and set that. All right, we're good to go. And then very politely, it'll ask me if I want to go first or not. So, yeah, let's play a game. Yep, I want to go first. So I'm going to give it a try. And I will probably fast forward over some of this so you can see the progression of the game. I think when I sync a Battleship, I will add maybe a sound effect or a video from the movie, and the movie clip I'm thinking is when they're launching the missiles. Again, if you don't know Battleship premise, it's an alien race has landed. They have taken out all radar and sonar. And for the battleships and the fleet to destroy them, they have to use sonar buoys for tsunamis to see water displacement. And so then there's a grid of that. And so they actually recreated this whole grid where they then go, oh, it's F10 and they fire. There's actually a scene in the Battleship movie where they do that. It's kind of cool, pretty creative. And I loved it when I saw that. All right, here we go. And I got beaten by my own AI. It actually was pretty efficient this time, but most of it is random stuff. But anyway, so that's a gameplay. It shows you how it works. Give it a try. You can find it online on ZXSimulator website. I'll put a link here. get a chance to play it yourself. And if you want a copy of it, send me an email. I'll send you a copy. It's just I can send you a P file or an ASCII file if you want. Not a problem. But anyway, that's Computer Battleship, a game I wrote as a kid, and have refined a little bit, but for the most part, it's still the same. The screen, the display, the AI, for the most part, I just improved it. And there was no instance, I think, where it actually ran into one of these cases that I had down here on my side. I don't see any of these cases happening here. So, all right, I'm going to end here today. I'm going to say no. The end. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.